Racist cops arrest. Black woman stunned. When she's the judge presiding over their case. The morning sun crept over the small town of Brooksville, painting the courthouse in gold. Life here was quiet, but not always fair. Beneath its peaceful surface lurked decades of division, whispered prejudices, and moments that revealed the ugly truth about some people's hearts. On this particular morning, Judge Vanessa Carter, a woman known for her intelligence, fairness, and unshakable composure, prepared for another day in court. She had worked tirelessly to earn her position, overcoming stereotypes, bias, and countless hurdles. Her name was synonymous with justice. But before she donned her black robe that day, something happened that would leave the entire town talking for weeks. Just a few miles from the courthouse, Vanessa decided to stop for coffee on her way to work. Dressed in casual clothes with her ID and judicial badge tucked safely in her purse, she pulled into a convenience store parking lot. Inside, two police officers, Officer Miller and Officer Daniels, were on duty. Both had reputations around town. They were strict, but there had been complaints, quiet ones, about the way they treated certain residents. When Vanessa walked out of the store, coffee in hand, she didn't expect to be stopped. "Hey, you!" Officer Miller barked, his tone sharp. Vanessa turned, startled. "Yes, officer?" "We got a call about some suspicious activity," Miller said, eyeing her with clear skepticism. Vanessa frowned. "Suspicious activity? I was just getting coffee." Daniel stepped closer, his voice carrying that patronizing tone she had heard directed at others before. "Mind showing us some ID? We've had reports about loitering and possible theft." Vanessa calmly handed over her driver's license. "There must be some mistake. I paid for everything." "You can check the receipt." But Miller smirked. "Why don't you come with us while we sort this out?" Vanessa knew her rights, but she also knew the danger of escalating the situation. Reluctantly, she agreed. As they drove her to the station, the officers made snide comments under their breath. "Figures," Miller muttered. "Always acting innocent," Daniels chuckled. "Yeah, we see this all the time." Vanessa stayed quiet. Years of courtroom experience had taught her when to speak, and when silence was more powerful. At the station, things quickly unraveled. Vanessa requested her phone call, contacted the courthouse, and within minutes, the police chief himself showed up looking pale as paper. "Do you two have any idea who this is?" the chief demanded. Miller shrugged. "Some lady causing trouble?" The chief's voice trembled. "This lady is Judge Vanessa Carter, the judge presiding over half the cases in this county, including yours next week for misconduct allegations." The room went silent. Miller and Daniels turned to look at Vanessa, their faces draining of color. She stood, calm and composed. "Officers, I suggest you release me immediately. We'll continue this conversation in the courtroom under the proper circumstances." A week later, the courtroom was packed. Word of the incident had spread like wildfire. Miller and Daniels sat at the defense table, looking far less confident than usual. Then, the door opened. Judge Vanessa Carter entered, wearing her black robe, every step radiating authority. She took her seat at the bench and adjusted her glasses. "Good morning," she said evenly, her gaze locking on the two officers. "Here we meet again." The irony wasn't lost on anyone. During the hearing, evidence of racial profiling, false arrest, and misconduct surfaced. Witnesses testified about similar incidents involving the officers. Vanessa, professional as always, didn't let personal feelings dictate her judgment, but the facts spoke loudly enough. Ultimately, both officers were found guilty of misconduct and suspended pending further investigation. The police department was ordered to undergo mandatory anti-bias training, and reforms were implemented to prevent similar incidents from occurring again. Vanessa's calm handling of the situation earned her national attention. She gave interviews, not to shame the officers, but to shed light on the deeper issues of prejudice and accountability in law enforcement. Months later, Brooksville had changed. The police department saw new leadership, officers underwent training, and community forums brought residents and law enforcement together. As for Judge Vanessa Carter, she continued her work, not as a victim of injustice, but as a symbol of strength and fairness. Whenever people asked her about that day, she simply said, "Justice isn't about anger or revenge, it's about truth. And the truth always finds its way to the light."